it's fair to say the world is changing fast, and developments in cloud, AI and standards will transform financial services.
Swift is working at the forefront of these trends, innovating responsibly on some of the biggest developments in payments and securities.
And Swift's Chief Innovation Officer, Thomas Zschach, now joins us to explain what is happening. Thomas, a very good day to you. Now look, Sibos this year, it's quite phenomenal in the fact that it's happening against this extraordinary backdrop. But at the same time, we're hearing discussions about the big trends in financial services, from cloud, AI to DLT, distributed ledger technology. So which of these trends stands out the most for you?
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting time indeed, and definitely a different time for the world. Sibos is a great reminder for all of us about how quickly the world's changing, whether it's digitalization, customer expectations, the emerging technologies, some of which you just mentioned. These are all important trends for Swift and for the community. I would highlight the importance of AI, or artificial intelligence. Simply put, it's really interesting and important because it gives us the ability to predict forward rather than look backwards. We shift from business insights on what has happened to predicting the future with a varying degree of confidence. This creates a great opportunity for Swift and our community. We have unique assets with the right privacy controls and legal frameworks to protect our customers. We benefit from the network effect, and we can add context that simply isn't available in other areas. And finally, we can mutualize services and build industry solutions at scale.
Thomas, there's a lot of talk in the industry about ISO 20022. As an innovator, what do you see is its real significance?
Well, as everybody knows, the migration and adoption of ISO 2022 is well underway. Swift's supporting things like market infrastructure migrations now, and has recently announced more flexibility in our approach to allow banks to adopt the new standard at their own pace. From an innovation point of view, what we expect to see innovation kick in as the standard is adopted. Really, the promise is that it will transform payments as we know it, not just for Swift, the Swift community, but for everyone. So the benefits are really standardization and a much richer data set. Standardization is happening at the same time as domestic real-time payment systems are being updated, and the richer data set opens up opportunities for automations and efficiencies, and probably serves as a catalyst to create new services that will benefit the entire community.
And we know that Swift recently launched a new strategy that puts innovation at its core. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk and announcements about the Swift strategy recently, but let me highlight a few things. Our strategy really is that we believe that payments and securities transactions should be instant, frictionless, and transparent with a global reach. That's what we do today, and that's where we'll continue to evolve the platform. Our next generation platform is really a fundamental transformation for payments and securities, and will provide even more transparency and predictability. It's our expectation that financial institutions will be able to expand their offerings to businesses and customers and enhance the end user experience. The next generation digital platform will use APIs and cloud technology and provide a common set of services. We feel very confident in our ability to execute this. For more than 40 years, we have collaborated with financial institutions and market infrastructures and central banks and corporates to address some of the most complex industry-wide challenges to the benefit of the entire financial community. The core of our strategy is innovation. Our innovation agenda is really purpose-led and strategically aligned.
Thomas, talking about innovations, if you might talk us through some of the innovations Swift are actually working on at the moment.
Sure. Let me start with really our approach to innovation at Swift, and being newly appointed in a newly created role just this year. I think it's really an important context for this. Our approach to innovation is collaborative. We partner with banks, financial institutions, corporates, tech giants, market infrastructures, Fintechs. We also know that we can't do it alone, and we understand that innovation is actually happening everywhere. We have a very balanced innovation portfolio that cuts across time, some of which will realize the benefits sooner rather than later, but we do have a longer term horizon for how we think about the market evolving. And I would say that the final thing is that our innovation agenda is really designed to accelerate and de-risk our product development efforts. Now, specifically, our priorities really kind of fall into four categories. The first one being APIs and connectivity options into the SWIFT community. We're exploring digital identities, which have a number of really interesting use cases and possibilities for SWIFT on the market. We're looking at tools and processes that actually make it easier for our customers to work with SWIFT and to do migrations and to adopt our products and services as we roll them out. And as I mentioned before, one of the most interesting trends is really around AI and machine learning and predictive analytics. And we'll explore those in partnership with a number of different organizations to reduce payment friction and air handling, for example, detect fraud and financial crimes, and then obviously continuously improve our resiliency in the underlying offering. You're going to hear a lot more about these things in the coming months.
Sure, and you mentioned fintechs in that answer. And what role do you see them playing in all of this?
Well, I think we've all seen an explosion of fintech activity in the last, 1, 2, 5, 10 years. Javier often describes SWIFT as a grown-up fintech, and I couldn't agree with him more. We're very well positioned to accelerate adoption of new products and services, and we have lots of leverage in terms of our experience, our reach, and our scale. So we're going to look at some additional ways to expand our partnership model, really to the benefit of the entire community.
And finally, it's been exciting to see where the financial services industry is going right now. But if I could ask, where do you see it going? What do you see being different in the next 10 years?
I always love this question. And my first response is if I had a crystal ball, my job would be much easier. Unfortunately, I don't. So, I think some of the things that we can pull out of this and expect in that type of time frame is that customers' lives will truly be different in a fully digital world, including the seamless transfer of value across the new SWIFT platform. Financial services, I think, will be more embedded inside of the services that we see today, and things just become much more seamless. If we build this properly, we'll not have winners and losers. We'll build something that's inclusive and to the benefit of the entire financial community. SWIFT's role is really to accelerate the way the world moves value and to build an inclusive global economy in a hyper-connected world. So lots of really interesting changes and lots of interesting things coming down the pipe.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. But Thomas, an absolute pleasure speaking with you. That was Thomas Zschach, who is SWIFT's Chief Innovation Officer.